You know, sometimes the most incredible stories aren't in novels. They're actually hidden away in old records. Today, we're going to piece one of those stories together, a journey of faith and family that crosses 2 continents and spans 8 decades. We're following John and Hannah Wintringham all the way from the coast of England to the Hudson Valley in New York.
So let's start here, at this quiet brick building. This is the 9 Partners Meeting House in Millbrook, New York. Now, it looks pretty peaceful today, but for one family, just arriving here was the final step of a really long and pretty dangerous journey. We're going to work our way backwards from this very spot to figure out how it all began.
So who were John and Hannah Wintringham? Now, these aren't names you're going to find in the big history books, but their story, which we pieced together from things like marriage certificates and old meeting house notes, gives us this amazing window into the lives of ordinary people who made a totally extraordinary choice. Let's start digging into this mystery.
To begin, we have to jump back in time and go across the Atlantic, all the way to the East Riding of Yorkshire, in England, right around the mid-18th century. This is where we find the humble beginnings of our 2 main characters.
What's so fascinating about these details is what they tell us. I mean, he was the son of a weaver. She was the daughter of a tailor. So this puts their families right in the skilled artisan class. They weren't wealthy landowners, but they were respected craftspeople, really the backbone of rural English society back then.
But their lives weren't just defined by their jobs. No, it was something much deeper, their faith. John and Hannah were both part of the Religious Society of Friends. You probably know them as Quakers. And this community would end up shaping every single major decision they ever made.
So, after growing up in villages right near each other, their paths finally crossed. On February 10, 1773, inside the Ostwick Quaker Meeting House, 22-year-old John and 30-year-old Hannah got married, officially starting their new life together.
This quote is just fantastic, and it comes from their actual marriage certificate. See, for Quakers, marriage wasn't just a private thing. A couple had to announce their plans in front of several meetings, where the whole community would do a due inquiry to make sure everything was on the level. This line right here shows that John and Hannah passed, getting the full blessing of their families and their entire faith community.
So for over 20 years, they built a life in Yorkshire. John worked as a weaver, they raised a family, but then, in their middle age, they made a decision that would change their family's destiny forever. They decided to leave everything they'd ever known for America.
And get this wasn't some young guy seeking his fortune. No way. This was a massive family undertaking. In 1794, John, who was 43, and Hannah, 51, gathered up their 6 kids and set sail for a thriving Quaker settlement in a place called 9 Partners, New York.
And this was no pleasure cruise. A family biography gives us this incredible detail. They purposefully chose a colder, much more dangerous northern sea route for one reason: to avoid Algerian pirates. I mean, that tells you the level of danger they were willing to face.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 11 to 13 weeks. That's almost 3 months on a crowded ship crossing the freezing North Atlantic with 6 kids. The kind of endurance that would have taken is it's almost unimaginable today.
So after surviving that voyage, the Wintringhams landed in New York. They made their way up to Dutchess County, ready to join the community that they had traveled so incredibly far to find.
Okay, so how do we know for sure they actually made it?
Well, the answer is in this key Quaker document called a Certificate of Removal. You can think of it like an official transfer letter. Their home meeting in Hull, England, would write one to prove the Wintringhams were members in good standing, and then their new meeting in New York would formally accept it.
And there it is. This is the smoking gun, the golden key from the archives. This little entry, right from the 9 Partners meeting records, officially documents their arrival. It's the absolute link connecting the weaver from Yorkshire to the farming community in New York. It proves they completed the journey.
So they had arrived. This very building and the community inside it became the new center of their world. This is where they farmed, they worshipped, and they watched their children grow up and start families of their own, becoming fully part of their new American home.
Now, the Wintringham story is already impressive, but their final chapter is, in a lot of ways, the most remarkable part. After surviving all the hardships of the 18th century and a dangerous ocean crossing, both John and Hannah would go on to live exceptionally long lives. First up, Hannah. A death notice that was published in the Poughkeepsie Journal says she passed away after a short illness on September 2, 1824. She was 81 years old. In the early 19th century, when average life expectancy was way lower,
Reaching this age was a huge deal. It's really a testament to a life of stability and just sheer resilience.
John actually outlived his wife by 7 years, passing away in 1831. He also reached the incredible age of 80, having lived long enough to see his family firmly planted on new soil.
When you look at it all, their story is just one of incredible endurance. They were both buried in the cemetery right there at the meeting house. Their journey, which started in the villages of Yorkshire, had finally ended after more than 80 years, a remarkably full life for anyone in that era.
And so, we end right where we began, at this quiet meeting house. The story of John and Hannah Wintringham is such a powerful reminder that history isn't just made by famous leaders. It's made by countless families who make brave choices to build a community, to keep their faith, and to cross an entire ocean searching for a new beginning.
It kind of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? Their journey was a transatlantic one, but really, every family has stories of movement, of change, of taking a risk. What are the journeys, big or small, that have shaped your own family's history?